brothers and sisters. Basically, we are same human being. I think the main reason, the way we born, same way. Religious, spiritual leaders, or queens, or rajas, and beggars, aid patients. Same way we born. And same way we will go. Then most important, we all want happy life. Even animal, birds, they also want, more happy days and nights, less disturbances, less danger. Even tiny insect, the insect. So we all have same right to achieve that. Then, I think at a very young age, I think we, maybe, the children, very young age, comparatively, maybe the more happier because less concern. They, I think, so long surrounded by human beings or dogs, showing some affection, then the child feel very happy. They don't calculate the others, what kind of religion, what kind of family background, or what nationality or position. They don't care. So now we grown up. Then, in a way, our brain becoming much more smart. Then we always calculate. Or what is that? The other sort of religious faith, or nationality, or rich and poor, or influential or not, all these. So, for example, I think sometimes we notice, some sort of high personality, high position or something. Everybody smile and showing respect. I think that smile not necessarily come from here, because as we calculate here, if I show some nice thing to that person, I may get some benefit. Child, not to that. So long, smiling. So what's it, showing affection. So because of that, much problem which we are facing today, I think my own sort of life, I born 1935. So at that time, the Sino-Japanese War about to start. Then Nazi Germany's sort of power also is gaining. So then, Second World War, including use nuclear weapon. Then Korean War, Vietnam War. There's some historian say in 20th century, over 200 millions of people killed through violence. So now my age, almost 81 years old, still a lot of violence. With sort of conviction or view or concept, use violence, use force, you can win. The other side can defeat. That's old thinking. I think that kind of thinking is outdated. In ancient time, even I think village to village or community to community, sometimes it is certain sort of violence, limited sort of violence or because of war. Then each individual's or community or society more or less self-sufficient, independent. So then destroy. See your neighbor who shows negative way to you, then that's a victory. Now today's world, not like that. Everything interrelated. So therefore, you see, now according to today's reality, you see, use violence. You see, through violence, it is impossible to achieve one-sided victory, one-sided defeat, impossible. So no matter how serious problem, disagreement, you have to find the human way. We have this marvelous language. Talk and understand their views, their interests, and ready to share your own sort of thing. Share with them. So these days I describing this 21st century should be century of dialogue. That means so long we human being there, some problems always there. So then whenever some problems about to happen, then talk through dialogue. Try to reach some kind of understanding, right? Mutually agreeable solution. That's the only way. So 20th century seems to see century of violence. Now this century, in order to create century of peace, century of non-violence, we have to promote spirit of dialogue. So this century, 21st century, should be century of dialogue. So as you mentioned in my introduction, my number one commitment, we are same human being, 7 billion human beings, same. I am one of them. 7 billion human beings, happy, peace. I get maximum benefit. 7 billion human beings, always distrust, suspicion, bullying. And like today's sort of situation, rich and poor, so huge gap, rich and poor, and a lot of corruptions. Then each individual will not be happy. So for selfish reason, my own sort of happier life, you have to think world, happier world, peaceful world. Peace, ultimately, peace not out of sort of fear, but peace out of compassion, out of sense of concern of their well-being, respect their right. So that peace is genuine peace. So ultimately peace is related with our heart. So here I always trying to promote sense of oneness of 7 billion human beings. You see, individually, I get maximum benefit, from that kind of attitude. I strongly feel we are same human being. So with that, wherever I go, when I meet people, I feel brothers, sisters. So I always say, smile, like that. If I too much emphasis, this is my own sort of, because of some the special sort of the position of, firstly, I'm Tibetan, and I'm Tibetan. Then I'm towards India. I think historically we are very close. So, okay. But the Europeans, you see, oh, too much emphasis, I'm Tibetan. Then Europeans, it's a different color of your hair, your sort of, because of the color. So, limited. And then meeting African, something. Then furthermore, I'm too much concern, I'm too much emphasis, I'm Buddhist. Then meeting with, you see, non-Buddhist people, or they feel, oh, something. Then worst thing, if I'm emphasis, I'm Dalai Lama. Then out of 7 billion human beings, only one Dalai Lama. So then I really get loneliness feeling. This not Dalai Lama, just not Dalai Lama. No one, Dalai Lama. So I am just alone. Right? If I think, human being, human brothers, sisters, oh, elder brother, another, I think, maybe comparatively, I think younger brother. So then, you see, really feel something intimacy, way, closeness feeling. So my number one commitment is promotion of the sense of oneness of 7 billion human beings. And practically also, a lot of problem, including violence, and worse thing, violence in the name of religious faith. You see, these ultimately related with too much sort of self-centered attitude. I, we, and they. You see, no hesitation to kill. So some of them were like that. So if we develop sense of oneness of human being, irrespective of what religion, what nationality, what social status, and then actually I think genuine love is entirely based on, you see, concern the other as a human being. Then develop genuine love. The love towards your own close friend, that is much more related with attachment. So, the loving kindness combined with attachment is biased. More attachment, or the other side, hatred, also you see, always come together. The genuine compassion without attachment, that is genuine compassion. So that usually goes on the level of human being. Attachment, secondary level, we are same follower of a particular religion, or we are it's the same country, like that. That is the, you may develop some kind of loving kindness towards such sort of conditioned sort of case. That's attachment, biased. So that sometimes you see create more problem. So that's, so I always telling people, share this. You also part of 7 million human beings. You also have some friend. So therefore, these thinking, share with your friend, then each friend also share their own friend. That means from 1 to 10, 10 to 100, 100, 1,000, like that. So that's the way change. From government level, even United Nations cannot change these things. These, you see, change must start from individual. Firstly, one individual, then share your own family member, then your friend. So these, now, like when we heard, you see, some due to accident, one person killed, accident, one car or something. We say, oh, how bad, one person killed. Or people who live near jungle, oh, such person, now killed by tiger or lion or elephant. It become news, something sad. Then we human being killing another human being. Sometimes we feel that's more or less normal. Terrible. Particularly in the name of religion, killing each other. Nowadays, I think this very moment, we are quite pleasant, happy, peaceful. At the same time, same planet, same human being, killing, suffering. So we have to, we cannot sort of remain because of indifferently. We are part of humanity. We have to do something, directly or indirectly. So that's my number one commitment. So I want to share with you. Then second commitment, on that level, I think your work, you see, fortunately you are quite sort of rich or very successful sort of life economically. So, as I mentioned earlier, the gap, rich and poor, not only morally wrong, but also practically source of problem. So we have to reduce, you see, this gap, rich and poor. Firstly, global level, industrialized, northern world, quite rich, and southern world, Africa, Latin America, and some of Asian countries, still economically some difficulties. So, and then within the country, again, gap, rich to poor. So now this, we have to sort of tackle this problem. In order to reduce this gap, I think both sides have the responsibility. Richer side and the poorer section, both sides. Poorer section should develop self-confidence. You see, deep inside, because of economically poor, sometimes you see have some kind of feeling inferior. You see, that creates because of the jealousy or irritation, anger. So instead of that, we are same human being. They are quite successful through their hard work. We also same human being. One time in South Africa, as a Soweto town, I visited one local African home. You see, there, beside their home, their family, and one guest, their friend, used to come, and he introduced as a teacher. And we talk. Then the teacher, one African, black African, I told in our conversation, I told them, now you have the democratic constitution, wonderful. Anyway, it is quite easier on paper something, mention something. And of course, basically you all have the same right. But then emotionally, it may take more time. So you should now develop self-confidence equal. What white people achieve. You black people also can achieve that. Then the teacher, told me, no, we black African, mentally inferior. We cannot compete with. At that moment, I really felt very sad. If that kind of mentality remained there, then very difficult to change. So I argue with him, no, it's totally wrong. If you ask some brain specialist or some scientist, due to different color or different races, any difference of brain, or scientists definitely say no differences. Then I also, mentioned with our own case. Sometimes some narrow-minded Chinese, of course, China as a people, wonderful people, really hardworking, cultured people, really wonderful. But some of the hardliner, they is a little bit sort of narrow-minded, short-sighted. So they consider Tibetan very much backward. So I told him, we also have that kind of experience, discrimination. But the question is opportunity. When we have opportunity, we also, reach sort of top because of the or professions or education in different field. I told him. Then at last, with long sigh, orange, he mentioned, now I convinced we are same. At that moment, I really sort of released some sort of my worry. At the beginning, I really much sort of because the worry, sad. And through my argument, and his mental attitude changed. I feel very happy. So, like that, the poorer section of people, sometimes in this country also, the scheduled caste, sometimes, or in Bombay, or slum people in slum. It's a mental level. So, the poorer section of people, educate them, give them every encouragement, and if necessary, utilize the medical sort of viewpoint, same. So build self-confidence. With that, education, training. So richer side, provide facility of education and provide some sort of instrument for training. So you are doing that, isn't it? Wonderful. When we're coming here, I just mentioned him. You actually serving, helping practically to other people. So that's action of compassion. He do that. He carry that. My case, compassion is just a word, empty word. Compassion, doing nothing. So I really appreciate your work. Really appreciate. So this, both sides, the poorer section, develop self-confidence and provide education. One time, I think 2 years ago, in Bombay, after my talk to students, then some students came to see me. They very much also they developed close feeling with me. So they want to do something according to my wish. Then I told them, oh, in your own area, I think the slums in different part of the Bombay. So the nearest sort of slum where you live, start voluntarily education to those poor people. Then more because of coordination. It's a different slum area. You see people, I think naturally you will find more volunteer, similar sort of way, come and then organize. Then more unified sort of the effort. I told them like that. So, this Kasachukti, the promotion of happy humanity, like that. Economically try to reduce this gap, rich and poor. I think lack of sense of concern of others' well-being, then corruptions, crimes, cheating, all these happen. Just law from outside control. Our brain is quite sophisticated. We know law, but we find some way. Unless something honest, truthful, compassion develop here. You see, we cannot develop because of the happy or clean society or like that. So all these things related with moral principle. With this connection, last now sometime, not only myself, but number of my friends, some scientists, some educationists. Now we realize, we feel existing education system is not adequate. Existing education system is very much oriented about material value or external value. When people pay more attention about internal value, usually we rely on religious faith. That also, you see, firstly, there are many different religious traditions. So like India, if education about moral principle, moral value is concerned, relying on religious faith, then what is religion? Complication there. So therefore, India's constitution is very much based on, a secular concept. So respect, according to Indian understanding, secular means respect all religion, isn't it? No preference in this religion or that religion. And also, according to some of my friends, the secular also means respect non-believer. So that is something very, very relevant, I think, today's world. According to some sort of report, out of 7 billion human beings, over 1 billion are non-believer. So these are also part of humanity. They also need moral principle. So the education about moral principle based on religious faith, then difficult. So therefore, according to Indian understanding about secular, you see, according that way, you see, some moral education, mainly based on scientific finding. As you mentioned, let's say over now 30 years, I have serious discussion with scientists. So, according to these scientists, some medical scientists, even they even say like the constant fear, constant anger, is actually eating our immune system. So for good health, the healthy mind is very relevant. So then healthy mind means less fear, open mind. And the society also, you see, if you carry your life honestly, truthfully, then you can carry your life more transparent. Transparency brings trust. Trust brings friendship. No matter one individual powerful, rich, or very politically, or in any way, anyway, something very influential. If something to hide, then he or she cannot carry transparently, isn't it? So therefore, then is a trust difficult. We as a social animal, trust is very important. As a social animal, friendship very essential. The basis of friendship is trust, not money. I think you know. I think before you start, you see your work, this kind of sort of compassionate work. I think before and after, I think those people who come close to you, I think maybe differences. Before that, you already have a lot of money. And then people or appreciate or admire, you see, his sort of richness. But not necessarily there is trust. When you actually sort of implement out of your sort of wealth, helping other people or serving other people, then people really develop trust, respect. Isn't it? Yes. Is, my view is wrong?
No, it's right.
Or right? Please make correction. So like that, I feel like that. If I remain as a sort of spiritual leader, I don't think, you see, I will find, you see, more friends. Then I feel another human being, just the same human being. Even beggar or something. Shake hand, say hello. Very good. Occasionally you see some problems. You know, one occasion in Germany, one sort of function, so they invited me. So I went at that function, quite dark. So, and my car is going right, Kaza, car, on the street, going in the street. You see, my usual sort of habit is whenever I saw some person, I always smile, always smile. So that night, one young lady is coming from there. As usual, I smile. Then she got some suspicion. You see, so this dress, so strange person, smiling at me. Oh, maybe some dirty things there. So that occasion, you see, I learned my smile to other person not necessarily bring some happiness, some suspicion. So out of practice of love, compassion, you yourself immediately, you see, get some benefit, calm, peace, and self-confidence. That not necessarily bring happiness to other person, as this is one example. So in any way, that's the exception. Otherwise, whenever I met, you see, people, like a hotel or a city, the bearers or sweepers, wherever. Within 1 day or 3 days, 2 days, we become close friend. And then police, security personnel. Within, I think, few hours, we become friend. And Dharamsala, the government of India has provided security sort of personnel. Right. So within a few months, then when they leaving, many cases, tear. You see, human friendship, if you respect them, keep sense of concern of their well-being, then they are also human beings. They respond accordingly. So now, you see, without talking about next life, or heaven, or hell, or for Buddhist nirvana, without talking these things, simply, while we remain on this planet, you want happy because of the happy life. In order to bring happy life, healthy body, for healthy body, healthy mind. This now according to scientific, medical scientists, they say that. Then, some calm mind, or including some sort of, because of the familiarize about compassion. Another word, meditation, or training of mind, training of compassion. That actually change brain also.
It has effect on the brain. We're talking about neuroplasticity.
Oh, some American scientists, you see, they tested people who spend a lot of time thinking or contemplation about. So their brain is something little different. Now, more important, I want to share with you. Including Richard Davidson. You see, they carry some experiment. Very, very young infant child, not yet developed, as a language. A few months old, 3 months, 4 months old. To that child, some cartoon. One cartoon, two children playing each other and with smile, with affection. One cartoon, that kind of cartoon, show that child. When that infant child saw that, smiling, showing happiness, joyfulness. Another cartoon, you see, two children, you see, negative attitudes one another. When dad shows to that child some sort of reservation or some sort of unhappy attitude. And then, more important, as I mentioned earlier, you see, constant fear, constant anger is actually very bad for our health. So these shows basic human nature is more compassionate. So they concluded that way. So that really gives me the real hope, basis of hope. Basic human nature is positive, compassionate. Therefore, if we make effort, we can build compassionate society. Through that way, compassionate world. If basic human nature is negative, then no hope. Then you should just make effort and just leave it. So therefore, you see, then again, see, our own daily experience, when we feel, sort of, you met, you see, some of your close friends, trusted people, say, a short moment, you feel very happy, relaxed. While you completely relax, and then you see someone, you see, inform you, or someone, one gentleman, or one ladies, you see, you feel distrust. You see that come to see you, then you are completely relaxed on the mind, and immediately, just like that, isn't it? These are common sense, our common experience. So therefore, the scientific research and our own common experience, you see, compassionate mind is very, very sort of useful for our life. So compassion, even animal also have limited sort of affection. For example, the dogs and cats and these, they very much affection towards their own youngster, like that. So this is biological factor, not a religious factor. Animal, no religious faith. But biologically, they already equipped, showing affection. Because affection is necessary. Affection brings care. Care survived their youngster. So we also say, after we're born, next few years, so without mother's or without parent, particularly mother's affection, you will die. So biologically, you see this emotion, love, affection, you see come. So therefore, all 7 billion human beings, including these troublemakers, when they born, and next few years, they also receive tremendous affection from their friend, from their parent, from their mother. So any person who appreciates others' affection, they also have the experience to show affection to others. So now only problem, only sort of the problem or sort of lacking is in education field. When young children, natural sort of these feelings are very much alive, then grown-up education, not much talk about these things. So this basic sort of natural sort of they are good quality. Grown up with certain environment. Now education about sort of these warm-heartedness, affection, we equip biologically. Now these are something very, very important for their own health, from their own lifelong experience. These are very, very important. Then including happy marriage. I often used to tell him, the marriage on the basis of external beauty, that marriage, not very sure, long-lasting, it become long-lasting marriage or short-term marriage, don't know. So external beauty, very important, but more important is internal beauty, isn't it? Marriage take place on the basis of sort of the inner beauty. Then really long-lasting sort of marriage. Marriage on the basis of external beauty, after 1 week may start a quarrel. After 1 year or 2 years, then start divorce. Some my friend, some American, when I think the in the 70s when I first visit America, saw my friend with their wife. Then I think 80s, 90s, another visit, new wife. Then third visit, another wife. So quite short marriage. So not very happy marriage, isn't it? So this reminds me, one occasion in San Francisco, I met one Christian, preacher, right? Priest. He usually work with marriage, some sort of the work, they marry or like that. So then he mentioned to me, he usually advised boys and girls, or males and female. You see, you should not decide marriage hurriedly. You should know each other very well, should be very well. Then marriage is very sound. He told me, he usually gives that kind of advice. I think that means till you know inner beauty, then decide marriage. Otherwise, the external, very much sort of objective, and a lot of kasata, they mean cosmetic. Not very sure. Like that. So happy life very much depend on heartedness. So use common sense, scientific finding, then use these, we can educate people, children. Actually, last now few years, we, as a result of our this discussion, we already making draft of curriculum about moral education, strictly secular way, not relying on religion. So I think next year we may finalize as a draft, as draft, not final finalization. So then let few school carry that and watch next few years. Then result quite convincing, quite good. Then from few school, 10 school, 100 school, like that. Anyone who from Canada? Oh, one there. British Columbia, they already, decided within the province, school should include moral education about moral ethics. Although the curriculum, we not yet develop, they already decide that kind of approach, like that. So we'll see. If you have some interest, then I would like to give you one copy of that book and read if you have time. Then that is from kindergarten up to university level, with help of Emory University, America. They already prepared that. So now till next year, we are thinking. Next year, some in this country, India, already some universities in Delhi, we already discussing involved. And then America also, some universities. So we are going to have some kind of semi-international conference like that. Then try to finalize like that. Then religious harmony, as a Buddhist monk, I always try to promote. India is example. Over almost 3,000 years, this country, the religious harmony is there. Beside homegrown religion, that is, Sanghism, different Hinduism, and Jainism, Buddhism, and Sikhism. These are the major homegrown religions. Then from outside, Zoroastrianism, from ancient Persia, and then Judaism, Christian, Muslim, all these major religious traditions, you see, live here. Almost 2,000 years. So occasionally some problem here and there. That's understandable. Sometimes I used to describe it. Almost 1 billion populated nation. Some mischievous people must be there. Over 1 billion population, no mischievous people, then not really humanity. Some mischievous people must be there. So this is understandable. But basically, this country, I think really sort of example, living example of religious harmony. So I really wish, you see, these Arab countries or Northern Africa and this area where, although His Holiness Pope also now making really effort, wonderful. So I think India, can make some sort of contribution. You already have this practice. So those people, those area, even same Muslim, Shia and Sunni. In India, like Ladakh, see, Shia, Sunni, always together. And not only Shia, Sunni, but also Ladakhi Muslim and Buddhist remain together, no problem. So like that. So therefore, that's second my commitment. So this is okay. That also, you see, you as an Indian, you see, your 1,000-year-old, your tradition, secular, conservative secular, and ahimsa, non-violence. These, really India's treasure. You must keep these, and the younger generation educate these principles, these values, like that. Then another, with that, I usually used to call expressing the psychology is concerned, knowledge about mind or emotion is concerned. India's psychology, highly developed. So therefore, you see, compare India's ancient psychology, then modern psychology looks like kindergarten level. So India's psychology, highly developed. So, you see, however, in modern India, modern India, too much westernized. You see, not much pay attention about, you see, your 1,000-year-old, these sort of values or this tradition. So, we, Tibetan, I always describe, we Tibetan are chela of ancient Indian guru. I think 14th century, 14th century, one Tibetan great scholar, he described, till light from India reached Tibet, in spite snow land, still dark. Only after India's light reached there, then the snow land become bright. It is very true. Including my own sort of limited knowledge here, all come from India. mainly from Nalanda, 8th century, the top scholar, philosopher, logician, Shantarakshita, he invited by Tibetan emperor, 8th century. He introduced Buddha Dharma according to Nalanda tradition. So we, over 1,000 years, we carry this study rigorously. At least in order to become normal scholar, you have to study 20, 30 years rigorous study. Root text, memorize. Myself, when I was, as I mentioned earlier, you see, when I was young student, I was very, very reluctant and lazy student. So my tutor compelled to keep whip to threat me. Of course, in a ceremonial, I put on high throne, holy person. But when I carry, so listen, whip, put, because of keep beside him. So out of fear, not volunteer or something else, out of fear, I carry study. So in spite of that, now my knowledge, you see, when I met, including some scientists, my knowledge, okay, quite sufficient. So now, next, because I think about 3 weeks, as I mentioned earlier, this is some lecture on Buddhist philosophy or these things. So like that. So therefore, the knowledge about mind, about emotion, is very useful. Should not consider part of religion. This because of academic subject. Usually I describe hygiene of physical. Usually we study, educate. Similarly, hygiene of emotion also necessary. In order to educate hygiene of physical, you see, we need different virus, all these things. Similarly, in order to get fuller knowledge about hygiene of emotion, you need the fuller knowledge about map of emotion. Then much easier to tackle. Like that. So therefore, all these, your treasure, we just learned from you and kept over 1,000 years. So now, fortunate or unfortunate, now Chela, student, now time come, student teach you, Guru. So that's preservation of, also this is the preservation of our own traditional knowledge. So over the 30 years, after we discuss seriously with modern scientists, now time passes, now it becomes very clear, mutual benefit. For us, very useful information about scientific finding, from scientific finding. Then equally, they found very useful information about emotion, about system of emotion or mind, like that. So, now questions.
Yes, thank you so much for being here with us. We're going to have a short interaction so that people can ask you questions.
Yes.
I will lead with just one question, Your Holiness. You've already given us a lot of your wise advice, but can you tell us specifically what you think philanthropy can do to make the world a better place? There are a lot of very rich people in this room. So what advice do you have? How should they use their wealth? And how should they use their wealth with an open heart and without ego? What is your advice to us?
Firstly, as I already you practice that, I have nothing to add to that. And then ego. Sometimes even you say, myself, some practice, and some corner from my mind, sometimes I feel, how much appreciation from other people, that kind of ego. So then deliberately try to sort of remove that. So if you see, no matter how wonderful service or helping, the egoism there for my own name, my own sort of also the fame, then spoil from the karmic viewpoint. So should be compassionate, should not think your selfish views like that.
Your Holiness, your point on poor people and self-confidence. When system encourages people, and people also prefer, celebrate being called backward class and prefer subsidy, how can people take pride? Is it not true taking pride and self-confidence, or having pride and self-confidence are interrelated?
In Tibetan word, you see courage and kazoda, arrogance, two different things. Arrogance. There is some kind of sort of kazoda, 직시하는 마tos 통주체로서지.
When you are arrogant, actually what you do is you look down upon others.
Courage, self-confidence, not necessarily that kind of sort of feeling. Respect other. And meantime, with full self-confidence, then work together. Even sometimes pushing them also, you see, or is it the same, or is it the courageable way, confidence like that. So arrogance, you first, and then other, some lower. Do you find some differences? What do you think? What do you think?
I think taking pride is not arrogance. Taking pride is that is part of self-confidence. Without self-confidence, there is no pride. So they are interrelated, I think. But arrogance is totally different. A pride person is not necessarily arrogant. People, or how can pure people develop self-confidence when the system encourages and people also prefer to be called backward class? And they celebrate being backward class. Nobody celebrates being forward class. So how can they bring pride to people and self-confidence?
As I mentioned earlier, now when we study about map of emotion, map of mind, like anger, see, we cannot say anger is bad. With other motivation, related to some other emotion. For example, anger, out of sense of concern of their well-being, like my teacher, you see, showing whip. Sometimes you see show very so, what's it, also angry face. Sometimes that is out of sense of concern of my education. Sense of concern of altruism. So such little bit harsh sort of attitude is positive. Then you see, smile, nice word, out of jealousy, out of want to cheat. Then this nice word, nice attitude appears positive, but actually negative. So the very basis of violence and non-violence is, we cannot say on the level of sort of action, but we have to think motivation like that. So therefore, then equally like the kasora, ego, where? Ego. One positive ego is, I must work hard. I have to serve people. That their strong, their sense of strong self is positive. Then, sense of strong self, you see, I want to be I want to be first, and in order to my success, I should defeat other, or I should create obstacle to other. That kind of ego is wrong, negative. So the mental state, emotional state, quite sort of complex. Therefore, I mentioned it is very, very useful to study the ancient Indian psychology. Then very detailed sort of distinctions of whole system like that. Okay, then you.
Yeah.
One European now.
Your Holiness.
Oh.
Is it working?
No, not working.
Your Holiness, you talked about the responsibility of faiths.
Karsa.
How do you believe the world can work collaboratively to end the trade and exploitation of people in modern slavery?
I think your question may be related. Sometimes I also feel, and there are a lot of problems there. And in spite of my sort of sincere motivation, no, I cannot do much. Then, question is, if I feel that way, and your friend also feel that way, then nobody make effort. As far as your own individual is concerned, you have to work hard. Whether success or not, different question. I also feel, now 81-year-old, is some of my sort of effort to promote these things without any sort of expectation within my lifetime or something, a good result come. Never. I think my life, perhaps next 10, 15, 20 years, maximum 20 years, then usually I describe also, you see, we are the generation of 20th century. Question, I think generation of 21st century. So, you remain major portion of 21st century. We will not. You see, we are generation of 20th century. Now we already sort of retired. Now time come, our retirement, and then say bye-bye. So irrespective whether you can achieve something significantly or not, as far as you as a human being, one of the 7 million human beings, you must make every effort. Then at the end come, you feel no regret. I try my best. Then also you see, you can share your, for example, as I mentioned earlier, 10 friends or 100 friends. Well, if you make effort tirelessly with vision, more friends come. It's not question of real effect, materialize or not. It's a different question. Okay. If we individual feel, yes, difficult, problem is so much problem, we individual cannot do, then each person feel that, then nobody. We have to work. We have to work. Such sort of destructive work, those people, as far as their determination is concerned, really very strong. So this destructive work also, you see, carried such immense sort of determination. Then constructive work, we should carry determination, willpower, isn't it?
Much of the cruelty that occurs in the world, I've noticed is a derivation of fear. Fear of what people do not understand or fear of what they are intolerant of. How can we dispel our own fears in order to be more compassionate to others? And how can we influence those around us to also dispel their fears so that they can be more giving and helpful of themselves?
I think firstly, according to my own experience, I always carry truthful, honest. Then if someone, you see, criticize that, then you feel pity. Oh, he or she, out of ignorance, is some negative sort of comment or negative sort of things come. As far as your own motivation is concerned, 100% pure, truthful, honest. That's more important. The great Buddhist master, Nalendra master, mentioned the criticism. Even Buddha also, is sometimes criticized by some sort of, even his own sort of relative, like that. So it is quite natural. Don't care. So that kind of mental attitude reduce fear, your anxiety. Anxiety, no. If you, now for example, my own sort of experience, in sort of 50s and 60s, particularly in 1954, I went to Peking, and at that time I visited many places in People's Republic of China. So each place, some official sort of welcome, and also I sort of make some speeches like that. So most cases written speech. And sometimes and then 56 come to India, Buddha Jayanti celebration. Also some formal welcome and a formal speech. A little bit nervous. Then naturally you get much sort of fear or anxiety, right? Anxiety. Then gradually, as I mentioned earlier, I'm just another human being. A mistake always happen, always possible. So whatever you feel, honestly, truthfully, tell, express. Then no basis of fear, of anxiety, isn't it? Whenever you see some sort of the difficult question or some question not familiar for me, I always say, I don't know, I don't know. My first visit England, I think 1973, I think first my European tour. So in England, in London, so my talk always quite often is I don't know that. So then I think some kind of reception after my talk. The English gentleman, approached to me and says, oh, he really admire. You have no hesitant to say, I don't know. So at that time, I felt, many British leaders, Britishers, they reluctant to say, I don't know. So they pretended everything they know. So like that. At one time, in Switzerland, on my talk, at that time, of course, some sort of quite tricky sort of questions. Some religious organization, they follow of that religious organization. They want me, I should sort of, from my mouth, should say, oh, that religious organization is something wonderful. I reluctant to say that. So therefore, there's some follower asked me about that. Then I mentioned, I don't know, like that. So then one follower come or takes to the microphone. What do you say? Always say, don't know. What are you saying? It happened like that. That's a little bit kasota, little bit trick. I do not want to say, that religious tradition, religious group is something good, something wonderful. I don't like to say that because I heard a lot of complaint about that religious organization. At the same time, I do not want to say that your organization is something bad. That also I don't want to say. So simply I say, I don't know. Then finally I got some scold. Then I left that place. So then, leaving from that hall, and I feel something liberation. Next question?
For one more question.
No hurry.
No hurry.
No hurry. No hurry.
Go ahead.
Your Holiness, this is a question in the Nalanda tradition. It is about if there is room for competition in a compassionate world. Competition arguably has driven a lot of the progress.
Competition of the world.
The world sees.
Yes.
Competition is largely about self. I'm going to be number one. Whether it's my industry, whether it's me as a person, skill. And does that have room in a compassionate world? The definition.
As I mentioned before, the sense of competition also there are two kinds. In order to show other people, to further develop, you see, you work hard, I should be top. That kind of competition is good, right. And then another sort of sense, in order to in order to reach top, then creates or cheating other, that sense of competition is wrong. So, in order to push other people, in order to show others a good example, you hard and you try to reach top. Good. Okay. So some kind of sense of competition itself, due to other factor, sometimes positive, sometimes negative. Okay.
Okay.
Holiness, in Buddhism, I believe there is a karma philosophy. Do you believe that karma philosophy and a good karma philosophy gives more wealth to the people?
Firstly, you see, what kind of karma? Just a mere good karma, not sufficient. What kind of, sort of action? Karma means action. So any action motivated by karuna, compassion, any action is very good. As I mentioned earlier, one individual, 100 individual, 100,000 individual, 1 million, crores, that nation certainly be happier nation, less corruption, more equal. So karma should not put some mysterious level. Sometimes we Tibetan, sometimes I criticize, we sort of lazy person, not doing much, and then blame, due to my karma. So that's, you see, lazy people is something like a shield. You are not making much effort, but blame karma. That's wrong. Karma is Sanskrit word. That means action. So everything depends on action. So action, not prayer, but actual action. So sometimes, of course, I respect all religion, all major religious tradition, I really respect. I admire. I never make attempt to propagate Buddhism, Buddha Dharma. I respect major religion. It is much safer and better to keep one's own traditional religion. My own some experiences is some people, change religious faith, then gradually create a lot of confusion in their mind. So it is much better to keep one's own traditional religion. Of course, some individual, that's something exceptional. Otherwise, much better to keep one's own tradition. Faith kasa. Then the Buddhist way of approach, Buddha himself, told, you are your own master. Everything depends on yourself. Buddha's Buddha's responsibility is simply teaching, explain. According Sankhya philosophy, one part of Sankhya philosophy is, I think, 3,000 years old. Then the Jain philosophy, then Buddhist philosophy. These three philosophy, no concept of creator, rather self-creation. And everything depends on karma, action, your own action, like that. So rest of the world religions, the concept of creator. So faith towards creator. That also very, very powerful. When we describe creator, God, infinite love. Allah, infinite love. God, infinite love. All the religious tradition which believe creator, when they describe creator, is infinite love. Nobody say creator is full of anger. No. So we created by such compassionate sort of infinite love. That give us some kind of sort of courage to practice, to strengthening practice of love, because we created by such a wonderful Father. Very powerful, isn't it? Very powerful. So the according Buddhism, like two other sort of non-theistic religion, there's an emphasis karma, one's own practice, like that. So then, world, I think if we 10 family, 100 family carry sort of compassionate action, helping each other, those more successful family have the responsibility to help these poor people, poor family. And poor family also, should develop sort of the genuine friendship and work together. Should not feeling of inferior. Then we can work together through common effort, can change the society. Through that way, one society, another society, then the country can change. It takes time. Not overnight, but decades, as I mentioned earlier. The later part of the 21st century can be more peaceful, more harmonious, more happier one. That's definitely come. So, karma means action. Okay. Don't follow some Tibetans way, you are doing nothing, but then whatever something happened, is my destination of karma. It's mistake. Self-defeated. Marve. So the Buddha's advice, you are your own master. That's very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate. Firstly, your effort, your good example, and also appreciate many of these the members also committed serving other people, helping other people. Oh. You see, while you are carrying these works, you should not look down these poor people. You should look, same human being. Because you see, due to lack of self sort of the confidence, and then certain sort of circumstances, you see, they remain a little bit sort of behind, but let them work hard, and all facility provided. Okay. So that's, I think, really, as I mentioned earlier, you see, you are really serving humanity through, out of sort of compassionate work or action. White scarf competing this color.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Really, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.